Oh, okay.
So it's like 22 something.
I remember those days, like when mine was little, but
But you know, the biggest difference is that the kids today, they yap and scream, they're running around, they yell, starving them and stuff.
that was my deal.
Silent.
It was like layers of loudness.
It gets louder and louder.
Conversation. Yeah. Sometimes you kind of miss that, but
Yeah.
it's also nice to have a super low holiday.
This year, yeah. This year at Thanksgiving, I made I wet for hymns that made them all stop and bring it for a couple minutes. And I made them sing Jesus. That's the little ones.
Is anyone online?
Hi.
Is anyone online? Bakers.
Bigger than I care to be, but happy to be busy. I'm great. I know it's like, oh, do you was that one too fast? Unless you can go. I mean, my husband is the voice of prairie. Right.
Oh, okay, great. Swift. Do you still have the lip gloss that I was getting? I know what it is. Sometimes she'll be. No, that's next week.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
No, that's great.
No, I think it's monthly dissolution.
Oh.
Yeah, I had 30 Friday. Yes, back 24. We have 6, so we have 4 and 3.
Tracy.
Okay. All right. We have a few folks, I think, who are still going to try and join us virtually from the District Advisory Board, but we do have quorum. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. This is the City of Wichita District 2 Advisory Board meeting. It is Monday, December 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m., the last District Advisory Board meeting of the year. I can't believe it. I'm so glad for all those who are with us here this evening and joining us virtually. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. The first thing that we always like to do is introduce all of the District Advisory Board members. And we'll do that with folks who are here in the room with us, but then also virtually. And I think we'll go ahead and start with virtual this evening, if that's okay. How about Tracy? I saw you first. So if you'd like to say your name, the neighborhood or homeowners association that you represent, and your favorite thing about Wichita without repeating what someone else says.
Okay, good evening. Tracy Adams. I represent the Harrison Park community. Let's see. The favorite thing I like about Wichita is, have you noticed all the nice like restaurants and smaller like independents that are showing up all in Old Town and Delano? I love that. I love to see the local entrepreneurs tap into the ecosystem that we already have going on in Wichita. I love that.
I love that. I just have to tell you, there were some guests from out of town last week who were here and doing some work in food deserts and food insecurity that I'm very passionate about. And they were visiting from Denver and they couldn't believe the restaurants.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
local restaurants. They were so impressed. They said they wish they could stay late longer just so they could eat more.
Well, they can come back, right, Becky?
So you can come back. Great. Thank you. Stephanie, thank you for being here this evening. You want to go ahead next?
Sure. My name is Stephanie McCurdy. I represent the Hawthorne subdivision. And my favorite thing about Wichita is everybody joining in on the holiday spirit. Driving through town tonight, headed home, I could see all of the Christmas lights and all the decor throughout the whole entire city. So it was very exciting.
Awesome. Awesome. John, we'll start with you tonight.
John Baker, Pine Meadow subdivision. My favorite thing recently is I've been to Botanica for 2 different events, and it gets better every year for illumination.
Faith Martin, I represent Eastridge Neighborhood Association. It's kind of about Christmas, but not really. There was a thing at NASCAR Park, which was really fun. I love to see that there's something every weekend, whether it's the zoo or Botanica or all the cool pop-ups. It's fun to be really festive and not fork over a ton of money. It's just, there's always something to do when you walk around downtown in the holidays.
Did you go Friday for the tree lighting?
I did. I also popped over to Prost because they were having a Krampus thing, and we also went to First Friday. So we were just all over the place.
Yeah, I had competing interests, but I'm going to take a point of privilege, and I'm sorry to John. Where's my buddy John in Park and Rec? I couldn't be there, so I'm sorry, but some of the Miracle League kiddos, including my buddy, got to do the Christmas tree lighting, and she did a little dance. And my point of privilege, and I don't normally say my favorite thing about Wichita, but I have another one. But if you haven't heard of the Miracle League, please come and talk to me. I've been a volunteer for a long time. I have a buddy. It's for kids with special needs who want to participate in sporting events. So it's great for the kid. It's great for their caregivers, and then it's also great for volunteers. It doesn't take a lot of your time, but it really is one of my favorite things that I do. So go Miracle League. And I'm going to take my second point of privilege and say my favorite thing about Wichita right now today is Park and Rec because of all the cool things. But Saturday I was at the ribbon cutting for the Brewer, the Carl Brewer Recreational Center. If you haven't been yet, please go. It is stunning. It's educational. The artwork is amazing. Teresa, anything you want to add? I mean, just 3 gyms, a full commercial kitchen, just a
Where is it?
It's the Carl Brewer Center by McAdams Park. We renovated it in our honor of the past mayor.
And the murals are beautiful.
And the murals are beautiful. One of the murals, we actually had someone go over to, was it Nigeria or Kenya? Where was it, Teresa? I can't remember. Ghana, thank you. They took the fabric over to Ghana, thank you, and then the artist painted the mural, and then we brought it back.
Don't
So-
forget the new thing too, the somewhere in Winterfest that's going on across from the way.
Yep, that's right.
It's-
Hey, now you're taking 2. Wait, when did that
2 weeks ago I did.
Okay, so thank you for the point of privilege, but all things Park and Rec today I'm in love with. Mr. Jim.
Okay, well, let's see, Council Lady Becky, she took all of mine. I was gonna say every one of those things, not really, not. Jim Groff with, on the HOA board of Western Estates. And my favorite thing is, number one, it's the time of the year, and some of that's because Becky always brings it about, she's got all the Christmas jingles in her red shoes and everything that reminds me, okay, if we're getting close, go shopping. But it's also is a grand pleasure being on the District 2 DAB board, working with this lady who, I'll tell you what, when you see her in action at the council meetings, or virtual, not, but I watch, and we went through some difficult scenarios called some water rate things that have to take place in the city. And, it's coming down final votes, and this lady comes in and throws the hand up and says, I got a good idea. Why don't we, maybe we just modify and do this, 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 and this. It's kind of like, yeah, that's a good idea. Instead of 5 years, 3 years, let's look at it every, and it's what she brings to the council is superb, and also the selection of our new city manager. A couple head scratches in there, and that, but the group they followed the guidelines and kind of followed the program, and it came out, I think, as well as I've been hearing many people say, thought it was an excellent choice, and your direction in that service. Really appreciate it.
Teresa?
I'm Teresa Peasy. I'm your community services representative for District 2. And my favorite thing about Wichita right now is that the leaves are pretty much down and my lawnmower is winterized. So no more leaves, no more lawn mowing, at least for the month. So,
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for all you do.
Good evening. My name is Tim Johnson. I represent the Willow Bend neighborhood. I apologize for my tardiness, but it gives me an opportunity to say that my favorite thing about Wichita this evening is our public safety officers. I encountered an accident on East 21st Street coming in here this evening, and that's what held me up.
I thought you were going to say you got pulled over.
I wouldn't be crazy.
Thank you.
Aaron Miller, I represent the Bonnie Bray Homeowners Association. Favorite thing about Wichita, while we haven't got to see them in action yet, I'm eagerly awaiting the snowplows and all the fun names and being able to track.
Yes. And
Con Wynn, Woodland Lake Estates. He just stole mine. So I'm gonna say just how centrally located and great it is. That Wichita is so easy to get to different places by airplane or by car. It's just wonderfully centrally located. So that's why I love about Wichita.
great point. Thank you so much. All right, next on the agenda, we have approval of the agenda for this evening, December 8th, 2025. Anybody have any changes that need to be made? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I would make a motion.
Thank you. A second by Faith. All those in favor of approval of this evening's agenda, please say aye. Anyone opposed? All right, the motion passes unanimously. As always, Teresa did an amazing job with the minutes from November 10th, 2025. Great detail. Thank you, Teresa. And just so you know, it comes up at council meetings. We read the DAB minutes anytime there's a zoning case in the notes. So it is really important that our community service representatives do such a great job taking detailed notes. So thank you, Teresa. Anyone have any changes for the minutes from November 10th? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Thank you, Faith. Is there a second? Thank you, Aaron. Right? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, we're going to go to public agenda. I am going to take one more point of privilege and then I promise I'll stop talking. Teresa sent on behalf of our legal team a gift log email. Gift log question. One of our fellow district advisory board members did ask me a question regarding, like, she got invited to attend an event. Went back and spoke with legal just to make sure it's a little bit gray. It's over $50. So let's say that you got invited to attend a gala and the ticket costs over $50. You probably should report it. Certainly if you received anything tangible as a district advisory board meeting, I would be shocked, but you either shouldn't accept it or make sure that you claim it. But Stephanie, does that kind of make it clear as mud for you?
Yep.
Yeah, you probably get invited to 1 million of those. So, and if you would like to speak with our legal team, just let me know. I think it was awesome that you asked the question. So thanks for being on it. Really appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about your gift logs being turned in? Okay. Seeing none, that is great. We now are at the public agenda portion. Is there anyone in the community who is here this evening who would like to make comments about an item that isn't on the agenda? Yes, ma'am. podium, Teresa, is that right? If you would come to the podium, state your name and address for the public record, and you will have 3 minutes. And
Thought it was only 2.
oh no, it was always 3.
My name is Nancy Brown. I live at 11707 East Crestwood Street here in Wichita. I don't represent any particular neighborhood, but I do live in the Chapel Hills neighborhood. And my favorite thing about Wichita is that no matter what your passion or interest is, if you are paying attention, there's probably something that is at least adjacent to what it is you love. So you can probably find something to do, and there's really no excuse to be bored. I'm here tonight to speak about the public hearing tomorrow at first reading for the ordinance calling for a special question election to impose a 1% sales tax. This has come to at least public attention very quickly. And that is one of my concerns, is the concern about the speed with which this has been progressing and the sources of it. I'm sure that cooler and wiser heads than mine have sorted all of this out, and it's all on the up and up. As the plan develops further, I would like to see, among other things, an exclusion for hygiene products, diapers, and an exclusion on foods similar to what the state imposed on prepared foods, so that the things that our more burdened citizens cannot do without are exempted from the sales tax. I would also like to see an apportionment of funds according to the percentages laid out as the funds can come in. Various projects involved in or for which revenue is being raised by the sales tax include public safety, homelessness and housing services, revitalization of Century 2 and Convention Center improvements, property tax relief, and development and construction of a new downtown performing arts center. I don't have any particular objection to any of those. I am extremely excited that housing services did eventually get included in the proposal. As I understand it, that was not one of the areas that was previously initially included. But my concern is that if the, for instance, the 250 million for Century 2 modernization comes off the top and we don't raise as much money as we expected, that means that everybody else gets the dregs. And so apportioning for every dollar that comes in, apportioning it according to the percentages outlined in the proposal seems like a fairer use of the funds.
If you have a thought or two to wrap up, that was your comment.
And I would want to make sure that there's a stipulation that there will be citizen appointments to the advisory board overseeing the management of the revenues generated, and that it will not just be business people. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you say what you said for exclusions again, hygiene products and what else?
Hygiene products, diapers, and an exclusion on food similar to what the state had before we did away with the food sales tax. So there,
that would be a state decision to have that exclusion. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else here from the public who would like to make comments on an item that isn't on the agenda? All right, seeing none, we will move forward. We're going to go ahead. Wichita Police couldn't be here this evening, but they sent a report. And I forgot, Bruce, would you like to introduce yourself, where you live, and your favorite thing about Wichita?
I'm Bruce Gass. I represent Chisholm Creek HOA, and you know, I'm always doing something odd. So here we go again. I am very appreciative about the electronic signs that warn us ahead of time about construction changes of one kind or another. Whoever orchestrates them, I think they're doing a great job, and I appreciate it.
I'll pass that on to Public Works. Thank you so much. Police could not be here, so we have Captain Whitechurch from Fire. So if you want to introduce yourself, where you work at, station, and then your favorite thing about Wichita.
My name's Chris Whitchurch. I'm the captain at Nines at Kellogg and Edgemore. I'm filling in for my chief today. He's off, so I'm acting battalion chief for Battalion 3. Favorite thing about Wichita is, to be honest, it's going to be my job. So I love coming to work every day, and that's the one thing I love. So
Thank you for your service.
thank you. District 2, there wasn't any fires in November, which is a good thing. We've had a few fires, but they've all been down south or downtown. We had a house fire this morning at about Mount Vernon and Oliver on El Pico. But we got that taken care of pretty quick. We had a building fire downtown about Harry and Mosley. That was a couple weeks ago, and then another house fire, 100 South Minneapolis. So they're still house fires, but nothing in District 2. So that's a good thing. I think you said you printed all these off for everyone. So I'm not going to go through and read everything for you. There's some things in here. We do have a recruit class in training right now. They'll be coming out around the 3rd or 4th of January. We're getting ready to start a new fire station at Pawnee and Mays. I think they start that in February. We have some new engines and trucks coming. I'm sure around here you probably see the trucks with the buckets in front. So what we're going to is what we call the mid mounts. So all the buckets will be in back. So it keeps from the swing, and so we can see a little bit better. But they're all, right now we have 3 mid mounts, and we got another one coming, but 2 are downtown and 1's down south on South Hydraulic. The other one's going to be at Central and Elder, but everything will start getting replaced. I think there's 3 more trucks and 10 more engines on order. They just take a little while to get here. Some of the stuff around here, Fire Station 14 on Woodlawn. They're getting their new kitchen. So they're getting a new kitchen design. So they're getting rebuilt for their kitchen. Trying to think, I don't know if there's much else. Down around Oliver and Mount Pawnee and George Washington Boulevard, we have a new we have everything at the RTC, but we just built a new building. It's going to be able to house our engines that aren't in use. So if we break down, we go get another engine. So they will be stationed down there. And we have to keep everything inside when it's cold, otherwise we'll freeze up. So now we got a big place that we can put everything. So I think it'll be open after the first year also. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions from the district advisory board?
Is Citizens Police or Fire Academy still in the early spring?
I believe so. I think it usually starts in May.
In May, okay. So
If I'm right. I'm not a part of that, so I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
It's online, but if you can't find it, let me know.
I found it. It just didn't have like a date.
It is usually in the spring.
Yeah. The only other one good thing is Governor Kelly was here in November, and they put Wichita as the Kansas Firefighters Memorial for the official for Kansas. So if you didn't know that, that's in usually October, down on Broadway, South Broadway. So got moved from Topeka to here. So we're happy to have it.
All right. Any other questions, Captain? Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe.
Have a good night.
You too. John, Park and Rec.
Hello, my name is John Sidwell. I'm the recreation supervisor over at Boston Rec Center. And I would say what I'm thankful for in Wichita are our facilities like Rescue Mission, Open Door Ministries, this time of year especially to help give people a place out of the cold. So I'm grateful for those. Also grateful for all those that volunteer to make those things function. Same thing with our district advisory boards, neighborhood associations. Without people volunteering, we wouldn't have a place for people to express themselves and help polish the city. So I'm grateful for that.
Great.
As far as with aquatics, we're continuing repairs on our pools and splash pads. We vacuumed leaves as part of ongoing maintenance to try and protect some of the new paint that we've laid down on some of the pools. And we've also completed some repairs on the turf at Linwood's splash pad that was an issue that arose during the summertime. Then, as far as our athletics, we started our registration November 24th for our new basketball league that will be taking place at Brewer Rec Center. And South Lakes just hosted a 21 team adult slow pitch tournament, and that was a pretty good turnout. And then at the Barry Sanders football field, there's 4 set of bleachers that we are currently replacing with new seating. But then, as was noted, Carl Brewer Community Center had their grand opening this last Saturday. The event started at 8:30 a.m. and we had remarks by project stakeholders and entertainment by the community members, which followed after that was demos, self-guided tours, and a breakfast was served. And then with that being said, we're moving on to, if you didn't know, we're in the progress of developing another center in Plainview. The Plainview Community Center, we're in the early stages of planning the community center, and it will serve as a hub for social, educational, and recreational activities, benefiting residents of all ages. As part of the early planning stages, we're working with the architect to develop a preliminary floor plan for the community center. The design represents our vision for how the space can be used. The floor plan is a draft that we're still refining based on community input, budget considerations, and ongoing discussions. While the floor plan is still in draft form, it gives us a good starting point for understanding the potential flow of the space and how we can integrate different functions like meeting rooms, rec areas, and educational spaces. And then this month for Great Plains Nature Center, staff naturalists reached about 1,700 people through 57 nature education programs. A little over 1,000 of those attendees were children. And November 1st, Great Plains Nature Center changed their hours to their winter hours. So they will now be functioning Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then our beloved Napster Park on Monday, November 3rd. Wichita Park and Rec was proudly recognized with the Literacy Legacy Award at the annual Read and Rise Breakfast Gala hosted by the Storytime Village. This award celebrates our department's ongoing commitment to literacy and community engagement through its partnerships with Storytime Village. The Read and Rise program is a family and community literacy initiative designed to help Kansas children in grades K through 3 improve their reading proficiency. Wichita Park and Rec has been a dedicated partner in the mission, collaborating each year from May through October to bring story time in the park to life at Napster Park. The program invites families of all ages to enjoy a vibrant mix of activities, including healthy snacks, a free book for every child, a story displayed on the park's digital board, a themed craft, and a fun physical activity. Also, unfortunately, during the month of November, we've experienced multiple incidents of graffiti and vandalism at Napster Park. It's required repeated efforts of cleaning and trying to get rid of that graffiti, which has impacted on the visual appeal and visitor experience. The graffiti appeared on both wooden surfaces and limestone structures, requiring different cleaning approaches to how we got rid of that graffiti. And then at the Ralph Wolf Riverside Tennis Center, the juniors and adult programs, 673 participants signed up for the monthly registrations for lessons and leagues. Also, we do have programs that are paid by the visit. So if you ever want to go and just do a drop-in on Tuesday, Thursday, we have a co-ed drop-in doubles. Wednesdays, evening adult drill. Saturday, adult advanced drill. Saturday, adult intermediate drill. Saturday, adult intro class, and a Saturday adult beginner class. But overall, there's been over 700 participants through the month of November. And then just to finish off, we just completed our annual Winter Wonderland event at Napster Park as well. We had at least 1,500 people in attendance. We had our Mayor Youth Council participate in volunteering, which was very helpful this year. And those of you who don't know what the Mayor Youth Council is, the Mayor Youth Council is formed by youth. And in August, we go through our applicants and we select about 19 to 20 students. And they self-run and they create their issue projects. Last year, for instance, was sustainability, homelessness, just to name a couple of the things that they were doing. But it's definitely a good program if you know anyone in the high school age to reach out to them around right before school year. It does require that they attend Tuesdays, the 2nd and 4th of the month between September and I believe April, I believe. But it is a great program if you know any youth that would fit that mix. We'll be taking registration at the beginning of next school year for the next Mayor Youth Council. So with that, are there any questions?
Any questions for John? All right, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Stay warm.
Oh, yes.
All right, next, the other John from library. And again, we're so glad to be back home at Rockwell.
Oh, yeah.
Love the new carpet smell.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Clary, and I'm the manager here at the Rockwell Branch Library. My favorite thing about Wichita right now is all of the local nonprofits and churches that help the food insecure, both the Thanksgiving dinners that have recently taken place, but also the food pantries, food banks, and the Lord's Diner. And here's what's happening at the library this month. First off is the Art Connecting Hearts program. This Saturday, December 13th, the Wichita Public Library will host a come and go community art experience at the Advanced Learning Library from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in partnership with Art Connecting Hearts. This is an initiative led by local philanthropist Balbir Mather. Approaching total blindness, Balbir paints the shapes and colors that still appear to him and has local youth enhance each painting with their own unique touch. In honor of his 90th birthday, 90 of these paintings will be available to purchase, with proceeds going towards continued art activities for local youth in Wichita. Additionally, attendees can help name the art pieces, and children can contribute to a mural as a community art project. Next is the Jane Austen birthday party. This is also on Saturday, December 13th. The Wichita Public Library will host a birthday party in honor of the literary icon Jane Austen's 250th birthday. This will run from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library. You're cordially invited to attend the Regency era themed party for tea, trivia, games, and more. Fans of the beloved author are encouraged to showcase their deep knowledge of the subject, debate about Austen's best works and adaptations, and don their most elegant Regency attire. Next is the Read ICT wrap-up for 2025 and the 2026 announcement of the new Read ICT categories. As the year is approaching the end, the Wichita Public Library would like to give a friendly reminder that there's still time to complete the 2025 Read ICT Challenge, a reading challenge in partnership with KMUW and the Wichita Eagle. Each year, Wichita's community of readers are challenged to read 12 books from 12 different categories of books so readers can get out of their comfort zone and discover something new. So far, nearly 200 out of 1,000 plus participants have finished the challenge, with nearly 8,000 unique books logged during this year's challenge. If you need more motivation to finish strong, please visit wichitalibrary.org/readict to find reading recommendations and ways to stay connected with other participants. Additionally, the Advanced Learning Library will host an all-day reading wrap-up party on Saturday, December 20th. Join us for a celebration of another successful year of Read ICT, where you can read, swap books, and get recommendations for any challenge categories you have left. After that, stay tuned for an announcement for the 2026 Read ICT categories. More details are coming soon. Next, we have activities for children and families during winter break. So consider stopping by a library branch near you during the winter break for fun, engaging activities for families, teens, children, and early learners. While most school districts in the area are out from December 20th through January 4th, the Wichita Public Library is the place to go to keep your kids learning, happy, and connecting with others. You can visit the library's calendar of events at wichitalibrary.org/events to find out all of these exciting activities throughout the Wichita area during the break. Next is holiday closures. Please note that all Wichita Public Library locations will be closed on Wednesday, December 24th and Thursday, December 25th in observance of Christmas. Additionally, all locations will be closed at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, December 31st and Thursday, January 1st, 2026 in observance of New Year's Day.
We're gonna celebrate New Year's now, John.
Good question. The Wichita Public Library does wish you a happy and safe holiday season. And finally, there will be a meeting room facilities policy change at the start of the year, January 1st, 2026. The library would like to remind the public that the meeting rooms facilities policy is changing at the start of the year. Organizations and nonprofits engaged in educational, intellectual, advocacy, civic, charitable, or religious activities will be able to reserve for free so long as the group and activities involved support the library's strategic goal to be a community hub for learning and engagement. As a result, meeting rooms will no longer be available to reserve for commercial purposes or for private individual use. However, we do have collaboration rooms throughout the library system that hold between 6 and 10 people, and they are free for individual use, private study, or collaboration. And also the Parks and Recreation Department has many meeting rooms that are available for rental for commercial purposes and private individual use. And for more information, please visit the library's website, wichitalibrary.org/services/pages/meeting rooms. And that will give you all the information about the new meeting room facilities policy change. With that, I can take any questions that anybody has.
Any questions for John?
Question, I have a statement. Whoever decided to put the giant window in that meeting room on the end it's so nice to have a meeting in there and you're right in front of the art, you can see the street, it's so bright. So I love the new meeting rooms.
Hutton is responsible for the design of all of the libraries renovations that we did. So credit goes to them and our library leadership and of course the library board and city council.
Awesome.
Yep, I agree.
I want to praise whoever picked what I professionally call the huggy squishy chairs out in the front by the window, right? So it's gonna
They
be
are
awesome for
incredibly, yes, they're
When-
incredibly comfortable.
watch out the window and that great chair.
I agree. Yeah.
Love it. Any other questions or comments for John? All right, yes, sir.
Could you clarify on, you mentioned that there's going to be a change in who can rent out the conference rooms. Does that apply to events that are already coordinated through the Advanced Learning Library? I'm thinking specifically of the writing group that meets at downtown library twice a month. Is that going to change their ability to access that space?
No, it will not. Any partnerships the library already has or existing programs will continue as is. Yes, you're welcome.
Great question. Great answer. All right, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Happy
great
holidays
evening.
to you, my friend. We'll
Thank
see you in
you.
2026. All right, Brad, if you want to start making your way up, we're going on to new business, PUD 2025-00025. Brad, thanks for joining us again this evening. You got 2 on deck tonight.
All right, Brad Etherly, MAPD. We are discussing PUD 2025-00025. For this case, the applicant is requesting a zone change from the Gateway Planned Unit Development, which is PUD number 104, and LI Limited Industrial District to create the Greenwich Heights PUD number 153. The subject site is 56.98 acres in size and is located on the northeast corner of North Greenwich Road and East 37th Street North. Right now, the subject site is undeveloped. Currently, the west 25.6 acres of the subject site is zoned as the Gateway PUD at number 104, which was established in 2022. While the property was still in unincorporated Sedgwick County. The property was annexed into the city of Wichita in 2024, and PUD number 104 allows for all uses permitted in the MF18 multifamily residential district, which includes single-family dwellings, duplexes, and multifamily dwellings. The applicant is requesting the zone change to create a residential development that will include single-family dwellings, duplexes, and multifamily dwellings with a maximum density of 17.4 dwelling units per acre. Other permitted uses include outdoor recreation, accessory to residential uses, neighborhood swimming pool, maintenance buildings, and a clubhouse. Proposed uses in the new PUD would be limited to those in the TF3, including single-family duplexes, and additional uses proposed to be permitted include accessory apartment, assisted living, group residence limited, multifamily residential at a maximum density of 5.0 per acre, neighborhood swimming pool, and parking area ancillary. Each of these additional uses are permitted in the TF3 district by conditional use, and multifamily is permitted by conditional use in the TF3 district at a density of 14.5 dwelling units per acre. So that's almost 3 times more dense than the proposed language that they have. Based off the legal description, the northernmost portion of the current PUD, and you can see it great in that picture right there, the little sliver of gray kind of above the black box is still going to be considered PUD number 104 and will remain unchanged by this request. However, it is staff's understanding that the remainder of that PUD will be seeking a zone change in the near future. According to the PUD drawing submitted by the applicant, the site would consist of 1 parcel. And let me see if I can read my own handwriting here. Since the writing of this report, staff has received a draft plat showing access off of East 37th Street. So requested standards for the PUD include the reduction of setback requirements and the permitting of zero lot line development. Zero lot line development enables structures to be built at the side setback line as long as a minimum distance between neighboring structures is maintained. several standards for minimum setbacks were requested, depending on if lots abut alley right of way or not, density of the dwelling unit, and if it were a zero lot line or not. So the current PUD number 104 and the proposed PUD number 153 have non-standard setbacks that make it difficult to compare to each other in the table in the staff report. So I tried to do the best I could by explaining it all below the table. As far as parking within the PUD would be provided in accordance with the UZC unless otherwise specified. Additional proposed language states that each dwelling unit would have a minimum of one off-street parking space and that no off-site parking stalls would be required. However, on-street parking may be provided. And on-street parking would be for convenience or guest parking. Also, on-street parking would only be allowed on a short-term or temporary basis. The PUD has language that says private restrictive covenants may further restrict parking within the adjoining public streets, and the alley areas would provide for unimpeded access to and from the lots. So staff does recommend that all language regarding restrictive covenants be removed, and I think that the agent and the applicant have already submitted new language that does remove that. So as far as signs go, signs are proposed to be permitted in accordance with the Wichita Sign Code for the TF3 zoning district. All signs would need to be located within reserves or private easements. That's based off of the applicant's language. Staff recommends that all signs be placed only in reserves, which would be indicated on that future plat. And again, I believe the agent and the applicant are okay with that as well. The proposed language does suggest that a 6-foot tall screening fence would be required along the north and east PUD boundary lines when multifamily dwellings adjoin single and or two-family land uses not within the PUD. And additional language suggests that an existing established hedgerow along the east property line can be used in lieu of that 6-foot screening fence if they are maintained or retained. The proposed language states that landscaping would not be required within the PUD. Because of the TF3 zoning district does not require landscaping. And staff proposes that this language be revised to indicate the requirements of the Wichita Landscape Ordinance shall not apply to the single family, two family, or neighborhood swimming pool developments within the PUD, but that any multifamily use that borders residentially zoned property or an arterial street, regardless of density, and not within the established PUD border, adhere to the screening requirements and the landscape buffering requirements. And again, the agent can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they're okay with that language as well. As far as nearby zoning, if we can scroll down one map, the character of the neighborhood is mostly residential and agricultural, although it's tending toward a more residential and industrial slash commercial along Greenwich Road, especially. So property to the north is zoned LI and is in agricultural use. Properties to the south across East 37th Street are zoned SF5 and are developed with single family dwellings. Property to the east is zoned rural residential and is in unincorporated Sedgwick County and is in agricultural use. Property to the west across North Greenwich Road is located in unincorporated Sedgwick County and is zoned LI and is in agricultural use as well. As far as the subject site, a little bit of case history. The subject site was annexed into the city of Wichita in 2024. In 2017, the site was rezoned from RR to LI. And then in 2022, that western portion was rezoned to the PUD 104. Right now, the subject property is, I think, going through the platting process. So that will be happening with final plats coming up. And no other zoning cases are associated with the property. As far as public services, the subject site has access to North Greenwich Road and East 37th Street. And like I said, the access appears to be coming off of East 37th Street. At this time, there are no plans in the city's CIP to fund any improvements to either street. And Wichita Transit does not provide service to the area. Municipal water and sewer services are available in the Brookfield addition, but would likely need to be extended to serve this future development. As far as plans and policies go, the requested zone changes in conformance with the future growth map. Thank you, Teresa. The future growth map identifies the area to be appropriate for new residential employment mix and new residential uses, which you can read in the staff report what those mean. But essentially, the proposed residential development is appropriate for this site. As far as compatibility guidelines, under development pattern, guideline 1A states that development should occur where necessary supporting infrastructure and services exist or are planned for extension. And this is obviously a fast growing and developing corridor along Greenwich Road. So we feel that it's appropriate for this location. And if we can scroll down to the site pics, I'll go through those real quick. They all look very similar. So they're going to be looking north and south and east and west. But this is a large piece of property and you're looking at north off of Greenwich or off of 37th and east off of Greenwich and then away from the property. I will say that you can see that they just kind of repaved the road on Greenwich, so it's really nice out there, but I don't think that they have any plans to widen or anything for right now. But so staff does recommend approval of the application subject to the provisions of the Greenwich Heights PUD number 153 and subject to the conditions that are listed in the staff report. We did receive a couple of public comments, and I apologize. I did not send those to Teresa. I need to remember to do that. But basically, people are concerned about traffic and density, typical things that people get concerned about, and that's understandable. But with that, I can stand for any questions.
Brett, I have a question. I have two comments and then a question. I have no ex parte communication with the applicant, the agent, or the resident, so I haven't heard from anyone. My other comment is just FYI, especially before it comes to council, the district advisory board is hearing this case on December 8th and not the 1st. I want to make that change just so it doesn't get asked at council. And then what was the MAPC vote?
They voted to recommend approval by consent, 13-0.
It's on consent. Okay, so thank you very much. Tim, do you have a question that looked like? Of course.
Seeking clarity, but you already answered one of my questions. It has already gone to MAPC. You talk about additional uses are permitted TF3 by conditional use, multifamily is permitted by conditional use, yada, yada, yada. These are in those zoning districts, but since we're doing PUD that's going to allow for uses in those zoning districts, will these uses be allowed by right under this PUD rather than by conditional?
That's correct.
Thank you. Actually, it's sort of a move in the right direction in terms of the mix of housing, the size, the density. Somebody said last month that I would not bet against 143rd being developed as an arterial further north of 29th Street. I don't know who that was, but you might remember that statement. This is going to help Forks developing that road. Last question, and this is the planner in me. Staff did not receive a detailed plan as required by the Uniform Zoning Code. So why are we taking this to MAPC?
So we did get a more detailed plan in the form of the plat. And so that was, I don't know if it was included in this version.
The illustration that you
yes.
Report, a copy of that.
Yeah, so if you notice the one with all the separate lots on it is the more detailed plat. Yeah. Okay. We've got to get our reports in at a certain time, and sometimes we don't get everything before the reports are done. So.
And questions?
All good.
Bruce?
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Which direction would the drainage be heading? And I see a lot of street, a lot of construction, and I don't see any pond or anything
So-
contained in this sketch.
Sure. So I will let the agent answer those questions for you.
Okay,
Bruce, any other questions?
that is the question.
Okay. Did you have
Drainage
any-
and where's the pond gonna be?
We'll bring them up, but do you have any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, anybody else? Yeah, Faith,
You're
you're on deck, Brian.
one you already asked, what was you said it was 13-0, but you didn't talk about how many, not complaints, but how many,
Public comments.
public comment you got, and if any of them were inside the area.
They're mostly from the development, Brookfield,
street.
across the street. Yeah, I think there were only 2.
And then the landscaping, if you could help me understand, it says the requirements shall not apply. Does that mean that they aren't gonna be required to do any screening anywhere? Cause I looked at the area and there's no housing anywhere
Sure.
around there. And if they're not gonna have screening in their own, does that mean no screening ever?
So when it comes to screening and landscaping, it's not necessarily about what uses are abutting. It's about the residential or the zoning district. And so particularly on the east side where it's zoned RR, I believe still, anything that would be abutting that. So within the PUD, we're not as concerned, but anything that would be kind of against Greenwich or East 37th, or if the portion to the north gets rezoned to residential, because right now it's LI, then we would have them screen and landscape buffer where the PUD sites abut the non-PUD sites, if that makes sense.
How do you go back and have someone add screening when a future development?
Well, and that's a good question. It's hard. And I don't even know if it's necessary, if it's actually possible, but especially if the one to the north gets rezoned prior to development, then that will definitely be something that will have to occur. So it depends on basically the timing.
So if it happens after, then.
It's kind of a cat out of the bag. Well, maybe. Yeah.
Any other questions? We haven't forgotten you, Bruce. We're just waiting to bring the applicant in. Okay.
So if my math is right for acreage for so forth here, we're looking at about 425 plus homes to be put in there. Does that sound about right?
I'll be honest, I don't know the exact number.
So these, and it says that each individual, they're gonna have individual, there'd be garages with these, we don't.
I'll let the
Parking is, each spot is supposed to have room for 1 car parking.
correct.
And, okay, but we don't know whether it's gonna be garages or, has there been any visual of anything given on what type of building?
Sure.
It's just all.
So we don't require any kind of renderings for these this is really based off the zoning at this point. The agent might have some more information that he might be able to give you, but yeah, right now the parking is a minimum of 1 parking space per dwelling unit. They could provide more. And then another aspect, just so you know, the multifamily, and again, the agent can maybe get into this a little bit more. It's not going to be about like big apartment buildings. It's more going to be like what you might consider brownstones or even condos that are kind of almost like single dwelling units that are kind of lined up against each other. But I think up to like 5 at a time or something like that. So is that correct? Or is that a different one?
Brian,
Then I might get my PUDs mixed up.
Is there any other questions? I was trying to make sure we didn't popcorn Brian too much. Any other questions from the district advisory board meeting? Okay, so Brian, it looks like drainage and parking, and we're gonna make sure that we remember as district advisory group, the golden rules, and that we're only thinking about, is this an appropriate use of the land? Yep. So Brian, thank you for joining us this evening as the agent.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Brian Lindeback, MKEC Engineering, 411 North Webb Road, on behalf of the owner and applicant. just to give you a little bit more color on this project, it's being developed by the same owners of the project to the south. So it's Ritchie Development as well as Perfection Builders. Ritchie is developing to the north. Perfection is building on what you see in front of you with this PUD. If you can see the houses on the east side on the south, those are their courtyard community. They have some new development styles in their courtyard communities now with alley loaded products. So there's part of the main reason to do a PUD is for allowing for those alleys because alleys have different kinds of setbacks and access to the houses. They also are going to be developing some cottages that what they refer to as a cottage style. It's basically on the corner of the property towards the intersection of Greenwich and 37th there. They intend to build some, I would say, more affordable but very nice housing in that corner. And so to answer some questions here, drainage, the drainage will be going, you see some of those little squiggly white lines or bluish lines on the screen there. The drainage will be on the east side and then also on the west side. So we'll have drainage being captured that way. We do have a plat going through the system of the planning department, and the drainage has been approved by the city engineering office. So that is being handled. With regard to the landscaping, I know there was some concern about that, but with this being a planned unit development, it's a custom zoning classification. So we need to be able to define all of the different variables that go into land development. And so just staying silent on landscaping is not adequate. We have to say something about that. And just like the landscaping on the houses to the south, they're not required to do anything from a municipal standpoint for screening and landscaping. It's all on their own. The developer still will choose how they screen from their neighbors. More than likely, they'll want to screen from the property to the east, probably, or to the west, rather, because that is limited industrial zoning. As I said, the property to the north will be rezoned. It is presently limited industrial. And the property to the east, we helped that owner rezone it to SF 20. So it would be like an estate style homes at this point anyhow. So that gives you a little context on landscaping and that sort of thing. As far as garages and stuff, really we were trying to minimize some of the garages for some of the cottages because that's more of a smaller, more dense type housing. But in general, if you wanted to pull up the site plan, we could show you that. The plan as it sits right now is sitting at about 187 dwelling units, which is far less than what we've asked for. But with PUDs, we like to allow for change. If the market says we need more cottages, we'll try to achieve that. So we did ask for 5 dwelling units per acre. And right now, I think we're looking at 3.2 dwelling units per acre. So with that in mind, I'll stand for any questions that maybe I haven't answered.
Questions from the district advisory board, and then we'll go out to the community.
All right,
Did
thank
we
you.
good? We don't have any questions.
Okay,
right?
good. Every once in a while, I nail it.
Bruce, did you go?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
okay,
darn.
Okay, okay, awesome.
Okay.
Question from the community?
You mentioned in a prior public comment session that there was concerns about traffic in the area and congestion brought in from new developments. Would not extending public transit like buses alleviate that concern?
It probably would. That's a conversation for another department with transit.
Yeah, I'm
So,
wondering
yeah.
how far away this plat would sit from where the transit ends. I'm imagining there's a couple blocks.
Yeah,
It's not
I know that it's a little ways away. I don't know exactly how far it is from where transit serves.
That include you can't park on streets.
They may have some language about that.
Because you are gonna have parking challenges.
I don't know.
People
So-
go around
so-
storage.
Sidebar, can you?
You sure?
So
I
Tim
think
asked the question if there was gonna be parking
Parking.
covenants, and will the covenants listed parking on the street?
yeah, and I think we've got a pretty good handle on these courtyard communities now. I think I mean, I bet it's positive of 1,500, 1,600 lots across the community that we've developed with Perfection Builders, and we have a pretty good handle on what parking needs there are. We used to develop lots of little parking islands, and we've done those in places, but as we've gotten into it more, we've been able to reduce those because they're just not utilized as much, and so it's just more, less landscaping and more hardscape that not everybody enjoys. So we've got a pretty good handle on the parking, and I think it'll function real well.
Any other questions from the community? All right, thank you so much to the agent. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Thank you to Brad. We'll read discussion back to the district advisory board. Any discussion?
I like the mixed development. I'm a big fan of that. And I appreciate that we're getting more things for the DAP to look at that isn't just single family housing. So, and I'm a big housing advocate. So unless there's not any other discussion for anyone, I like that you're not requiring the parking. I think we have way too much concrete cement dedicated to parking. So I think this conforms, and I would agree with staff's recommendation. And I would make a motion to approve if there's no.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Tim. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Just a side note too, I heard affordable housing, one of the topics now that's being, or terms that's being used, and I really like it, is workforce housing.
Is
So they-
what?
Workforce housing. So
What's the
talking,
definition of that?
it's talking about our community members who need housing, maybe that's a little less expensive, who are maybe in the service industries and things. So I like the topic. The name.
About eight votes.
Yeah, it was 9.
Thank you.
Let me double check. 9.
Nine,
He's
thank
absolutely correct. All right. Thank you so much. Next item, appreciate the robust discussion. Zoning 2025-00055, and we have Samuel with us. Samuel, I don't think you've been here before. Welcome to District 2. This is the best district advisory board meeting, says the documenter. I didn't even say it. And do you prefer Sam or Samuel?
Either's fine.
What is your name?
Sam.
Let's do Sam. Okay, Sam, you want to tell us your favorite thing about Wichita?
Good evening. I'm Samuel Dietz from the Planning Department. My favorite thing about Wichita that hasn't been said already is the weather. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and while I do enjoy the seasons, the winter does get a little long, so I'm enjoying the reasonably warm weather here.
You think this is warm? That will not be repeated, I guarantee. All right, Sam, wow us.
So zoning case 2025-00055 is a request to rezone from SF5 single family to TF3 two family. It's for a 23.35 acre property generally located at the southwest corner of East 29th Street North and North 143rd Street East. The applicant has indicated that they intend to use the site for duplex or two-family residential development. The zone change would not modify the setbacks, parking requirements, or height in any way. One of the few changes would be the minimum lot size, which would go from 5,000 feet in SF5 to 3,000 feet per dwelling unit, or 6,000 feet for each duplex. The applicant has submitted a plat subdivision case SUB 2025-00044 simultaneously, and that will result in 85 TF3 zoned lots. That subdivision case was heard at the MAPC meeting on December 4th and was approved. The character of the area is undeveloped and agricultural. Property to the south and west is zoned SF5 and undeveloped. Property to the north and east is zoned RR rural residential and is agricultural in nature. Property was zoned or was annexed into Wichita on October 14th of this year. There are no other zoning cases associated with the property. If you look through the maps in the staff report, those do still show the property as in Sedgwick County, but I believe GIS has now been updated since the staff report was printed and does show that within Wichita as an SF5 zoned area. As far as public services are concerned, the site has access to East 29th Street North and North 143rd Street East. Both of these are unpaved two-way arterials with no sidewalks. Municipal sewer and water are located approximately a quarter mile south of the site at the existing development, and Wichita Transit does not serve the area. The zone change is in partial conformance with the community investments plan, which identifies the area as appropriate for both new residential growth as well as agricultural and vacant land use. As the locational guidelines of the plan do encourage expansion of existing uses to adjacent areas of which this would fall within. And for these reasons, this zone change is considered to be in partial conformance, as it would be partially residential, but it would overlap with that vacant or agricultural area. The golden factors, I'll skip over these except for the last one. We have not heard any comments regarding the zone change. Staff did receive comments on the subdivision case about drainage, but has not received any comment on the zone change specifically. So this was heard at the MAPC meeting on December 4th and was approved. And it, based on the information in the staff report and at the public hearing plan, staff does recommend approval for this case. I guess I skipped over the site photos. If you look at the site photos similar to the last case, they all look fairly similar. Vacant or agricultural land and unpaved streets surrounding the property. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
I just will make a statement. I have received no ex parte communication from the applicant, the agent, or any questions for Sam?
Is there any discussion at planning about the roads or?
There was some discussion as part of the subdivision process. I can't recall off the top of my head what the result of that was. The applicant may be able to shed some light on that.
And it didn't come off consent at MAPC, did it? Did it just go in consent?
It was off consent because there was a party that it was on the same agenda as a subdivision case, but we didn't end up hearing it because a member of the public that wanted to hear it had left by the time this came up.
Bruce?
I'm confused by the paperwork here. Is this in the city limits or not in the city limits?
It is in the city limits as of October.
Is okay.
Yeah, the GIS was not updated at the time the staff report was prepared.
Okay.
So that's why the map still showed as Sedgwick County, but is in the city.
Good question. Good catch, Bruce.
The 3/4 sections to the west, southwest, and south are still in the county.
The portion to the south I know is in the city.
Not quarter sections.
Yeah,
It looks like an island annexation to me.
The portion to the south I know is annexed. I'm not positive, but I believe the portions to the west and southwest were also annexed. So it is contiguous with the city.
Section was annexed, or quarter section, I'm sorry, was annexed.
I believe so.
Why the interesting outline for the parcel boundary? Is that an accurate parcel boundary?
I believe that's based off the plating process. That's where, or based on where the roads and the subdivision will be. That was how the lots will end up looking when they plat it.
That'd be 30 feet back from the center of the road, right? Is that?
No, that's
standard?
arterial, it'll be farther back.
I'll defer to the applicant.
Brian, you gonna join us again?
Sure.
Come on up.
Oh, is this your project, Brian?
Yeah.
All right, cool, yeah.
Brian got a
We're really glad people are building houses around here. Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a plat in the works.
Good evening. Yes, there is a plat and it was approved on the same agenda, the prior subdivision agenda as well. It was approved, yeah, we're developing the whole quarter, with residential housing. And, this corner, the odd shape that you have there is matching, a two-family product that will be fitting in that shape. We do have several different types of houses, single family housing that we're going for. We'll have some patio homes, we'll have some conventional homes, some larger estate type houses, and then we'll also have these twin homes or duplexes. So it'll have a lot of different market capability is baked into the plan. We have platted roughly half of that quarter section, and that yielded well, this development has about 33% of those overall lots. And I think when it's all said and done, I think there's some 400 and some odd lots in the development. So 450, 430 or something in there in the quarter section.
And that section is all 4 of those quarters.
Yeah, so this is 85 lots of what you're seeing
And
here.
that's a quarter.
Roughly, yeah. Yeah.
But your client has control.
Yeah.
The entire quarter section.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We're just doing a quarter of the quarter section.
That's,
So
well, with this zoning, yes, but we're developing it all concurrently with one plan in mind.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
I know this might require some psychic ability, but for the single dwellings, what would you expect those homes to cost?
Well, I think that's a tough question, especially in today's market, but I would assume, the lower would be in the 300s or, upper anywhere from 400 and up. So, I mean, it's hard not to build a house for 300, I think anymore. I think you have to be in the 400s basically, but
Wow. Okay.
so, yeah.
Any other questions?
Mixed development again.
Yeah,
So
it's,
gonna have different types of housing.
yeah, that,
Ability.
exactly.
Just a point of privilege, because we're just talking about is this an appropriate use of the land?
Yes.
But we need all types of housing in our community. We need workforce housing, we need higher end housing, because people move up and then that opens their homes. So we need all types of housing.
And I think someone asked about the paving. There will be, roads will be paved as part of these projects. So, yeah. And the arterial, yeah.
So this is the same zoning as the previous case.
No, this is a TF3 zoning. The other one was a PUD. Yeah.
It says TF3 too.
Yeah, this is TF3 zoning. The TF, if you will, for the other case, it was, that would be almost like your base zoning for the PUD would allow for TF3. So this is a standalone zoning of TF3.
Oh, yeah, it's not PUD. It's
Correct.
basically the same uses.
Similar, yeah.
Any other questions for Brian? Being none, any questions from the community? All right, thank you, Brian, for being here this evening. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sam. Great job on your first time with us. Bruce,
Move with approve.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Sam and Brad, in case you need to know, 9-0. Okay, thank you. Great questions, District Advisory Board. I'm really impressed. Good job. Before we adjourn, I just want to make sure you highlight that our next District Advisory Board meeting will be Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. It will not be on a Monday, the 12th, because that will be the swearing in ceremony for Council Member-elect Joseph Shepard and re-swearing in for Council Members Maggie Ballard and Mike Holheisel. And then we will also pay tribute and special recognition to Council Member Brandon Johnson in District 1, who is terming out. So please mark your calendars. I know Teresa's already updated the and we'll send you lots of reminders, but in January, we won't meet on Monday, we will meet on Wednesday. And then last comment, this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at the Wichita Art Museum is the going away celebration, the retirement celebration for Bob Layton, who has served our community for 16 years. I've been on the planning committee, lots of surprises, lots of cool things, but opportunity to network, give them a hug, then there'll be a presentation and then a little more opportunity for networking and more hugs. So if you are free on Thursday, I know there's lots going on, but even stop by for a moment, I know it would mean a lot. So thank you so much for your service as we get to the end of the year. And thank you to Teresa for all you do. Keep us going and you make it look easy, and I know it's not. So thank you. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Thank you. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say bye. Happy holidays. See you in January.
Is Bob
Not
Layton's tardy